So you've been working on Zoom a lot, a lot lately.
Um, Actually, I'm not a techie guy. I just started with the Zoom. You know, they have this option of the live with Facebook. It takes time
Yeah,
to log in, and I think that we are live.
we're live.
All
Oh,
right.
yes, we live.
You can see me?
Oh, yeah.
Great. All right. So, hello, everybody. We are back with another episode of the series Reborn to Inspire. And today I have a special guest um, whom I met in 2016. But, there are some people where when you meet them, maybe for the first time, you feel that you connect together, even though if, few years pass by and you're not meeting physically, you feel that you're still connected because somehow and within the spirit you have same, you share same values, you share same objective, and here I'm talking about adding value to others and so forth. So I'm happy because when I asked him to join me in my series, he did not bring any type of, I can or I cannot. He just said, okay, I'm willing to. And here we are talking to my good friend, Kenston. Kenston, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing so well. I'm thankful to be a part of this and us to get back together after all these years, man. So, like you said, it's been a kindred, just a connection, a synergy that we had, and no, like I don't think I don't even feel like there was any barriers that stopped us from connecting. It was just that genuineness of you know, respect and care and just being a great human being. Like, it was easy,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Like we didn't
Yep.
even have
Yep.
to work at it. Like some relationships you have to work at. No, it just like an instant, like we purpose to do this thing. And so, it made it so easy, right?
Yep. Yep. I agree. So, Kinston, I'm going to start with you with the first question that I always start. Um, and we just go from this question, and things just pop up and we ask about whatever comes within the conversation. But
Okay.
my question is, I want you to share with us the major event. I know that we go through several events in our life, but there are
Yeah.
some major events where we feel that it's over, but somehow a moment comes or something happens where we feel that we are reborn again
Yeah.
from this situation. And the first moment after we get up, things change and something new comes up,
Yeah.
and you feel yourself as coming back stronger. Can you tell me about this kind of event that you faced in your life that
Yeah.
had you you know um, change or shift? You had a shift in your mind, and you started being, or let me say, you started acting on the new version of yourself after this event. What is it?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So in a nutshell, the event was a divorce, and
Mm,
many people can identify or have gone through some type of divorce or separation, and for me, it was a divorce that was taking place a time in my life was around 2015, right before we got connected in 2016,
yeah.
and um, but in that divorce, I found myself at a real low part of my life where I was, depressed. I was, anxiety. I didn't feel like I had any worth, any value, because my mind was only focused on trying to save my marriage and trying to do
Mm,
everything I can. And it wasn't working. Like it wasn't working. It was going down the drain fast. And I found myself in a place of just I was soaking in deep just, it wasn't good. It was just like a nightmare. It was just dark and eerie, and just walking around. I was just existing. And to the point, people could tell that like I was going through some stuff, because losing weight to, I'm not that, wasn't confident anymore in everything that I did, from music to even when I presented trainings, it wasn't as confident as usually was. It was questioning, always questioning myself of, okay, am I doing this right? Is anybody getting anything from this? I was questioning everything about me. And so it got to a point where, I remember sitting in a room, and it was just dark, and um, I said a prayer, and I cried out. I was like, Lord, help me. And it was in that moment that I gained enough strength to say, you know what? I'm not doing this by myself anymore. I'm not going through this journey of just dark and defeat and no value in self by myself anymore. And I had a huge support team, uh, filled with family, filled with friends, that when I was going through that tough time, I didn't lean on them. I didn't call them, because again, what are they going to think about me? What are they going to say about me? I'm usually the one that's motivating and inspiring them, you know but this was all in my head. This is all that
Mm.
self-talk of, they're going to think about me differently. They're going to judge me. And in church, the church people are going to judge me for me going through this process of divorce. And I'm the son of a pastor. Again, nobody's saying anything of that to me. It's me saying this to myself. So I'm internalizing this whole
Mm.
situation by myself. And it wasn't until that moment of when I got quiet and I prayed and I hollered out. I was like, Lord, help me. Like, I need help. But it was in that moment that an awakening that I need to not go on this journey alone. And so, that at that moment I said, okay, I need to contact my brother. I need to have my friend, my best friend, and need to get to counseling. I need to get a coach, a life coach. And I started putting these pieces together of people who can support me and walk with me through this journey. And see, a
Mm.
lot of people will stay stuck in that place of depression, because they're not willing to reach out, or they don't know how to reach out. And so my message when I'm speaking is, if you're doing life alone, you're doing it wrong. And so
Mm.
everything I talk about is, like, for example, divorce. If you're doing divorce alone, you're doing it all wrong, because
Mm.
because the trick is to get you to go through divorce by yourself, and to fall by yourself and not be able to, no one to help you get back up. And if I've seen people fall so far from divorce that they either hurt themselves, they killed themselves, um, they killed themselves and their ex-spouse and their children. Like, it's gotten that deep when people
Mm.
try to walk through a tragic situation by themselves. And so in that moment of reaching out to those critical people in my life, that's when I was able to see past what was taking place in my present self. Right, I can look at things differently, at different perspectives, people speaking life into me. Like, I had to say, Kenston, shut up, sit down, listen. I had to tell myself to do that, because you know I'm a trainer and speaker, so I'm like, I always speak it. I had to shut up and literally let them speak life into me and help walk with me through the journey. And so, and in that moment, that's when I started to walk in the purpose of finding my value again, like knowing who I am, knowing what I was put on this earth to do. And and you were a part of that, my brother. Like, you was a part of that process by me joining the JMT team. Going to that was a part of me starting my business, starting my training and speaking business, and connecting with healthy people, because I realized that was another piece of going through that divorce, that I needed to connect with healthy people, people who were, not that I say that were perfect, but people who had strength. They knew who they were. They knew their value. I needed that community of people to be around to help me as I was continuing to walk that journey. And thankfully, I gained a whole nother family with, the JMT people team. But like I said, specifically you, is like, it was just so easy. And I was like, man, this man is, I can see the energy, the wave around this man. Like, I need to be around this guy. And it's like, again, no barrier of language, no barrier of, because you're from a different country, got in the way of that, because we were two brothers that genuinely wanted connection. And I wholeheartedly believe that's a part of the human race, is connection. Like, people say the number one fear, around the world, is public speaking. But I say the number one fear is not having connection, not having relationships, valuable, healthy relationships. And
Mm.
we've seen that during COVID. Like, during this time of COVID, where everybody has had to, um, stay at home, or stay, to themselves, secluded. And now you're seeing people go crazy. Like, people are literally losing their minds because they're not able to have that human interaction. And it's so important, um, especially today. And so, yeah. And so, again, my story is, of course, I can go a lot deeper, but it's at that moment when I said, you know what, you can't do this alone anymore.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Now I understood your statement. Like, if you're doing the divorce alone, you're doing it all wrong.
yeah,
Wow, it's a great concept. I mean, I've seen it. I've been watching you, but now when you explained it, man, this is wonderful. That's wonderful.
yeah,
Seriously. And you pointed at great points actually, which made me now. I don't know which question I'm going to ask you, because what I'm trying to do is
yeah,
I'm trying to take the points that you spoke about, because what you said right now is kind of relevant.
yeah,
It's relevant to a huge number of people.
yeah,
So I'm trying to pick the question that anyone might ask.
yeah,
And I guess that if I highlighted on the part of you being aware of the root cause of your problem,
mhm,
which made you sit down and writing down who are the people, or what are the steps that you are going to take
yeah,
in order for you to go out
yeah,
from what you're going through.
yeah,
So again, I want you to elaborate on how important it is to have the awareness,
yeah,
how important it is to know, or highlight on the people that can make change in your life, and how important it is to have a life coach.
yeah. And so, like I said, it took that moment for me to sit down, because I realized, before that last prayer, before that cry out, I felt myself, like, dying inside. Like, I felt
Mm.
myself getting to a low that I knew would affect my son. Like,
Mm.
I knew would affect my son in a way that wouldn't be positive to his health, to his development. And I said, "Nah, I'm gonna choose life. I'm gonna choose to live, and live, an abundant life. Like, I'm going to choose this, because it's 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 not all about me. I got to think about my son. I got to think about my family. I got to think about my friends, everybody else. But it was just, I needed to do that. I needed to get it together for myself, and so that way I can be healthy for the people around me who are leaning and dependent on me. And so, it really came down to, um, I wanted to, right? I think
Mm.
everybody in that type of situation has to get to a point where you say, you know what, I want to do this. I want to get better. I acknowledge that I'm not the best right now. I'm not being at my best. And so, what can I do to get out of this? And again, coming from, a home where my mother and father were preachers, teachers, and pastors, it was always, inspiration has always been a part of life, right? And so, those words in the Bible, those Christian values, they came up. And so once those things started clicking, started turning on, then it was like, I don't know if you heard of the movie Rocky,
Yeah, of
Sylvester
course.
Stone. So yeah. So you know what I mean. So it was almost like the moment that Eye of the Tiger came on, and the music started, dun, 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 you know what I mean. Then I start feeling some more energy. I start feeling more alive, and it was like, you're not gonna die. You will live, and you will live a thriving life. And that's again, start, that self talk, um, that started turning more positive than negative. And once that started happening again, it just started clicking to make things start running. And so, um, again, and that's when I was able to sit down, when I was able to gather my thoughts, then I was able to reach out to the people I needed to reach out to. Again, it was a struggle even in that moment of, okay, identify the people who needed to be on my team, my support team. But the struggle was again, what are they going to think about me? How are they going to feel about me asking them to walk with me through these
Mm.
moments? Again, self-talk. It's that stinking thinking that will cause people to not reach out and to say, "Nah, I can handle this. I'm a man. I can handle this by myself. I don't need no help." And I tell people when they say that, like, that's trash. Stop it. You need help. And so, if that's anybody who's listening, please get past your pride, your ego, and allow people to help you, because they're ready. Like, they were ready. Like, everybody I called, they were ready. Like, yeah, let's go. What you need? How exactly can I assist you in this process? And so one of the things you alluded to was a coach, a life coach. And so, as what we do is we help motivate, inspire, ask intentional questions, to help people reflect, to help them come into new knowledge. And that's what that coach did for me. And it allowed me to think through it from different perspectives, and to really, for me to see myself differently than how I was seeing myself during that divorce period. And
Mm.
so again, what is, one of the questions was, um, so what do you want to do? What do you want to do after all this is said and done? How do you want to live your purpose out? And I thought about it. I was like, well, I love speaking. I love training. Hmm. Well, what can you do now to position yourself? Because you have all these tools, you have all these characteristics, you have these great abilities. What can you do with it? I was like, oh man. So again, it started making me think. I'm like, okay, now I'm focused on something totally different, like what
Mm.
I'm really supposed to be focused on. And all around, I mean, and all knowing that it was building me up, it was building my confidence, it was building my self-esteem. And so I was like this, but now I'm starting to open up, and I'm just starting to get like, and I'm like, and then I start turning to, Superman, put my hands on my hips, and chest sticking out a little bit more, because I'm now coming into becoming who I was called and created to be. And again, that the coach asked me, I'll say, okay, so how can you're going to start a business? All right, I know you want to start a business. Okay, what is it entailing? Training and development. Cool. Motivational speaking. Cool. All right, so what can you do to position yourself to help build that area in your life? And for some crazy reason, I get a Facebook post about the John Maxwell certification program
Mm.
that pops into my feed. You know, and so I was like, well, my dad, when he preaches, he talks about he has some John Maxwell quote in his sermon. And so I'm like, okay, well, let me check him out. My dad must like him, so let me just see what this is about, right? And so once the coach helped me put a plan of action together, it was I was just starting to execute it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and to the point where on that plan was, okay, get in touch with John Maxwell and see how we can be a part of the program. And, you know, and then that's when we met in 2016. So it was a journey, it was a process. But again, I had to take the steps towards it, right? Because that's all we do as coaches. Like
Right.
we ask those questions and put a plan of action together for you, but you got to carry it out. Like I can't do it for you, right? It's just not going to work. So yeah, so that's, you know, I'm grateful for, you know, those people, you know, specifically my, you know, one of my brother is like he's like a big brother mentor to me, coach slash sergeant. I call him the military man because he gives it to me straight, and he
Mm.
holds nothing back, and I love him for that. And even there was moments where I didn't want to hear anything. Like he was telling me everything great, but I wasn't trying to hear it.
Mm.
And that's another thing of going through that process of, there's going to be some people talking that you don't want to hear at that moment, but I want to encourage you to push yourself to hear, because again, it's a different perspective, and they love you, right? They care about you, and if you got people around you that love you and care about you, they don't want to see you in that position of that depressed state, because they know what it could lead to. That's the potential. Like we already talked about, the potential of divorce can lead to so great depression. Like I joined a group on Facebook, and it's about divorced men. And I tell you, brother, I had to jump out of that group because there was a lot of depressed men in there who were about to take their lives. That's what it was, a bunch of people talking about taking their lives, really not coming out of it. They couldn't see their way out of it. And
Mm.
so once I got me together to a point of getting some wholeness, going through divorce care counseling, then I was able to go back to that group and then inspire them, right? But while I was going through it, I couldn't be in that group. That's like,
That's the essence of that's the essence actually of the whole concept of being reborn to inspire.
yeah,
I don't know. You were going to say something, right?
no, that's it. You good? Yeah,
All right, all right. So that was actually my next question. Like after you're done with all these things, and now you mentioned that you went inside the group, you were one of them, but then
yeah,
you went outside,
yeah,
you fixed yourself, and
yep,
then you came back as an inspiration.
yep,
So what did you do? Like I know your coach gave you an action plan and you executed.
yeah,
And let me say this between brackets. Actually, when I met you in 2016, I'm the one who felt that you are an energetic. I didn't feel that you've been through things,
yeah,
stuff like that. So
yeah,
I mean, I salute you for the courage that you had. Nobody felt that you were a depressed person, or you went through something. You were
yeah,
walking with energy yourself.
yeah, yeah,
So my question is, when you executed the plan, what's
yep,
what's what what's what is the thing that you have done that inspired this Facebook group that you were talking about? Like how did you become the inspiration
yeah.
for this group of people?
So I took the whole, my whole thing about coaching is asking questions. So asking those questions: how have you forgiven your ex-spouse today? How can you forgive your ex-spouse today? What's one thing you can forgive them about? Something that took place in the marriage, it wasn't well, it wasn't received well. How can you forgive them today? Or what can you do
Mm,
to forgive them? Because
mm,
forgiveness was huge for me. bitterness was huge for me. I was bitter. I couldn't see a positive. And you told me, people was like, well, you should pray for your ex. I'm like, pray what? Psh, I'm not praying for my ex, especially if it's a negative thing that took place, and which is divorce. It's negative, period. But being able to forgive was so crucial to my healing, was so crucial to my wholeness, right? It didn't matter what took place. It was about me getting what I needed to get to become whole again, to see myself in a different light, a new light, a refreshed light. And so again, once I followed the action plan, once I was supported and surrounded by, you know, great friends and family, and then, you know, like you said, by the time I got to JMT, I was on cloud nine, because I already had been doing the work, and this was just adding to it, right? And so I was there, and it was like a new creation of me, a new version of me was being built in those moments. And so again, just going into that group and saying, hey, you're going to get through this. Like, I need you to repeat these words on my post and say, you're going to get through this. There is a tomorrow. My kids need me. Like, they need me. And so I'm a big advocate for parents. And so I started a group called Parenting Like a Boss, where it inspires and encourages parents to stay engaged, stay active, because, you know, a thing like divorce can tear a family apart, can bring down kids' self-esteem, can make them want to commit suicide, can want them to think that nobody wants them, right? And so I know the importance, of that. And so, which is why when I went through this divorce care group, it was a 13-week class, man. I was like, man, this is a long class, but it was 13 weeks. Well, I took my son with me, and there was a kids section of that divorce care class. And so for 13 weeks, me and him went through the same class to make sure that he was healthy, he was whole, as well as I was too. And we would talk about it each night. And so again, putting in that group, that divorce group, that, hey, here's a resource that you can take advantage of, where it helps you and your children walk through this thing together, right? Because I've seen so much crazy stuff happen with divorce, but it doesn't have to happen if you take the necessary steps to do it better. It's not fun, it's not, exciting, but just knowing that you're coming out an even better person than what you were, why wouldn't you do it? Like,
Right.
I chose not to stay bitter, but that was an everyday process for at least 3 years, everyday process.
You're talking about forgiveness. This is again. I'm telling you. I need people to hear this. Like, forgiveness is something huge in today's world. No one is willing to, because I talk about, in my last book, I was talking about it was called The 4 Laws of True Leaders. And one of them is the letter U. I'm talking about the importance of understanding.
Yeah.
All right. And I highlighted on people want to be understood and they don't want to understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello?
Yep, I'm here.
Yeah. I don't know, it cut off. So I'm talking about people. I mean, they need to be understood, but they don't want to understand. Same thing goes with forgiveness. People want others to understand them, but they are not ready to understand others or forgive them.
Yeah.
So I want you to, since you went through this experience, I want you to talk more about the forgiveness side, how
Yeah.
important it is, and that forgiving others, it doesn't make you a weak person. What
Yeah,
would you
for
say on
sure.
that?
Yeah. So forgiveness is, I think it was a quote I saying, forgiveness is not for somebody else, it's for you. And forgiveness is not for somebody else, it's
Mm,
for you. It's for me. I understand and I realize I'm not in a good state of mind. I'm not in a good state of being. I'm not good. I'm not happy. I
mm,
don't have this joy. I'm not living a fulfilled life. And so it's having that awareness that I'm not my best in these moments. I'm not my best for my son. I'm not my best for myself. I'm not my best for anyone else. And that's all tied to forgiveness or unforgiveness. That's what that's tied to. And so the
mm,
moment, piece by piece, day by day, I let go of the bitterness, of the anger, I'm refreshed. I'm getting reborn. I'm getting to a place where now I can see clear now that the rain is gone, right? That's a song. I can see obstacles that were in my way. Now I can see outside them, right? I can see
mm-hmm,
differently when I forgive. If I stayed in that seat of bitterness and anger and whatever it is, that's all I'm seeing right here. Like, you don't see my eyes, but I don't see you, but I can't see you. I can't even hear you because of unforgiveness. But as soon as I say it, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, my vision starts to get clear. I start being able to look around. Oh, there's freedom in forgiveness. Oh, I am a good person to be around, says my friends, says my family, says the people around me. Oh, he got some good energy. He got some positive energy. He's actually pretty likable. Every day, little bit like little, every holiday. You know, like I said, for at least 3 years, every holiday it was a struggle, and I had to say to myself, "I'm forgive on that holiday, Christmas holiday, Thanksgiving, any holiday we had." There was a forgiveness that I had to walk through, intentionally walk through it. Um, and again, I wasn't on my own. I went to counseling. Again, I had a coach, but that forgiveness is so vital to the heart, right? Forgiveness is the power, or unforgiveness has the power to take people out. Like it has the power to take
mm,
people out and mentally, like for real. If they ain't going out physically, they could be going out mentally, and which is like a walking zombie. And
mm,
like that's how bad unforgiveness can get. And so choosing to say every day, I forgive you. I forgive you. Say their name. I forgive such and such. I forgive every wrong that you've done. Say the specific wrong. I forgive that wrong. And for those who are listening, say, I forgive you for, you know, stealing, mistreating, cheating, whatever it is, call it out and say it out loud. Because I believe there's power in the words that we say that help people get free from unforgiveness and bitterness.
mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, brother, like, and people are listening, that you do that, you're starting to walk the right path. So,
That's great. Well, Kinston, as you said today, that we're going to have a great time. I'm seriously having a great time listening to you, and all the insights that you're dropping out of your message. But the time is running, so I'm gonna ask you for the last advice that
Yeah.
you can share. Like, let's say now you are reborn, you are
Yeah.
inspiring others. So I want you to share this inspiration. I want you to share this one advice that you inspire others with it, especially for those people who are right now in the middle of their own storm. What would you
Yeah.
say to them?
Yeah. So like I alluded to at the beginning, my quote that I came out of with through that divorce is if you're doing life alone, you're doing it wrong. You weren't meant to do life alone in the first place. You weren't meant to go through that storm alone. In the first place, you may have made some decisions that got you into the storm. However, use your phone a friend flag to really help have somebody help who you trust, who you value, to come alongside with you.
Hmm.
Don't be too proud. Don't have so much pride that you were not willing to say, hey, I need help. Like, stop. Don't do that. Say, I need help. Can you help me walk through this? Because I can't do it by myself. And so sit down, write down 3 people who you value, who you respect. Who do you need on your team? Identify those people. Is it a coach? Is it a counselor? Is it a mentor? Or is it a friend? Which family member can you count on to help hold you accountable, to help walk beside you? Because you can't count on everybody. You know, Make sure you pick positive people to be around you. Not so positive where they won't call you out on your things, but that they care so much about you that they're going to
Yes.
call it out, but they're going to do it in a way where it's respectful, it has empathy involved in it, and they're mature, right? And really take the time to write that list out. And then the next step, like I said, is to reach out. So don't just write a list and not reach out. Write a list. I would say add some prayer on it, but then take actions, follow through, and reach out to everyone. And I guarantee you, the situation is going to look better. Even if during COVID, get on a Zoom call, get on a webinar, whatever you can to meet up to start that plan of action taking place. Because if you're doing it alone, you're doing it wrong. And that's my message that I will say to this day. With all the injustices and all the inequalities, we need people, we need connection more than anything right now.
Right. Right.
So
Right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kinston, for this great insight, for this session. It was great, and I feel that a good number of people are going to listen to your message. I'm gonna encourage people to listen to it.
appreciate
And
it.
God bless you and your
You.
family.
Thank
You
you.
know, and looking forward to meet you face to face again,
Yeah.
hopefully, after this pandemic and all these years.
Yeah.
And we will keep in touch and we'll stay connected.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, and before we leave, I want to thank you and I appreciate you for reaching out and having this, because it's great. And I just want to say in parting that those who may be walking through a divorce, there is life after divorce. And we ain't get to talk too much to it, but there is life after divorce. And so I'm now remarried and thriving like never before. And so I just encourage people that there is life after divorce. So
Thank you so much, Kinston, for your message. And again, God bless you and bless your family and your
yeah,
new wife. Right?
yeah,
It seems that she has the same energy that you have. So you are meant,
yeah.
guys, to be together.
Yeah.
And God bless you.
All right, man. God bless you. We'll talk soon.
All right. Take care, my friend.
You too.
Bye bye.